Okay, I'm going to show you how to get your embroidery project started. You're going to select your patterns. These patterns I have on this sticky solvy paper, which is essentially a sticker that you peel and put onto the project, and it acts as your guide when you are embroidering. So for this one, I have this word breathe, and I'm going to first just eyeball where I kind of want to put the project. You don't need to use any rulers, you can sort of eyeball it, but feel free to be very precise if you would like to center it. But you could always readjust the fabric within the hoop after you're done if something feels a little off-centered, so you don't have to worry about being so perfect in the hoop as you're working. So I'm probably going to center that there, and then I'm going to add a little couple flowers to my project, probably here and here. But at least to start, I'm just going to start with the larger sticker. So I'm going to put these aside, and what you do is that you peel the edge. Okay, and then you just peel this off this paper here. Then you're going to stick it onto the fabric and try to remove any bubbles that pop up as you're doing it. There you go. So what happens with this sticker is after you're done embroidering, you are going to soak your project in water, and all of the paper and pattern just fades away and melts off in the water. Or dissolves is probably the best word to say, when you are done. And then your project will dry, and I will show you all those steps later on. So I stuck my larger sticker here, and then I'm going to select the thread that I want to work with. So for this one, I'm going to select this green color, and there are many ways to use your thread. So every big strand of thread like this has 6 tiny strands that make this larger strand up. So you can work with however how big of a weight that you want. You can work with all 6 strands, you can work with 3, you can work with 2, you can work with 4, whatever you feel like working with, depending on how thick you want the project to look. So for this, I'm actually going to work with 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unwind my thread, and usually the best way that I typically measure a good place to start is the length of your arm from your fingertips up to your elbow, like so, or even higher, even to the top of your arm. I know it's a little hard to see in the video, but to do this, so I'm going to show you a trick of my favorite way to secure thread on the back of your project. But you take the strand size that you want to work with and then double it. So for this, that was about the length of my arm, I'd say. And then I'm going to double it. So I'm going to take a little bit more off here. Okay. And then I'm going to, so this is probably about the length of my arm and then doubled. And I'm going to cut the strand off. And then what you're going to do is you're going to carefully peel apart. So in this instance, I want to work with 4, so I'm going to peel apart 2, and I'm going to show you why. So because we're going to double it to help to create a loop on the end when you go to start your project. So I want to work with ultimately 4, so I'm dividing that in half to make 2. So I'm taking 2 out of my larger strand here, and you just have to be very careful when you're unwinding it because it could twist. So I sort of just work my fingers down and then kind of just help the thread along. Sometimes it helps to pull it out to the side. And some of this bunching can happen, so you just gotta be as careful as possible peeling it out. I sort of just work my fingers through it here. Okay, so the strands with 4 I'm going to set aside here. I'm going to take my 2 strands and I'm going to double them like this. Meet the 2 ends here and then just sort of work through to pull them together so they're flush with each other. And then when I do that, I have this open end here and it creates this loop on this end, which is going to be where we secure the needle on the back of the project. So you can make a knot if you'd like and just pull 4 strands out, make a knot and do it on the back, and which is totally fine for a hoop. But usually if you're embroidering on clothing, this is the best way to secure so you don't have, it's very clean and flat on the back of the project, especially for clothing, which is great because you would wear it. But I like to do this no matter what project I'm working on. So then you're going to take your needle threader and you're going to put your needle, put the little threader through the eye of the needle like this. So it's secured onto there. Then you're going to take the thread that you just doubled here, put it through the little hole. You don't have to pull it all the way, just a little bit. Then you're going to pull the needle out over the thread like so. You might need to like hold the end here because it might be a little tough to pull it. And I recommend holding it and securing it because you don't want to tug too much on this wire off of the base here because sometimes they can pull out. So it's just better to be, you know, kind of hold it at the end here to give you as much leverage and security as possible. So you pull it out and then you are ready to start embroidering. And I will show you in the next video on how to start the stitching.